Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Iqbal Muklis Madali and my metric number is 280438. So today I want to talk about tourism industry and growth in Malaysia. So in this slide, we will go to the introduction to tourism industry. So tourism is the third biggest contributor to Malaysia GDP after manufacturing and commodities. So in 2018, this sector contributed around 5.9% to the total GDP. In recent years, the tourism industry in Southeast Asia had experienced significant growth and Malaysia was keen to capitalize on this trend. So, Visit Truly Asia Malaysia 2020 campaign was launched in the hopes of reaching the ambitious targets of 30 million visitors and 100 billion Malaysian ringgit in tourism receipts for 2020. However, the outbreak of COVID-19 has led to the cancellation for this campaign. So actually Malaysia had been experiencing negative year-on-year growth in visitor arrivals since 2017, which is coincided with stagnation of the tourism receipts between 2016 to 2018. However, in 2020, the tourism industry was faced an unprecedented challenge in modern time with the outbreak of COVID-19. We move to this slide which will tell you about tourism before COVID-19. In this slide, you can see the gross domestic product direct contribution from tourism in Malaysia from 2009 to 2018. So in the 2018 preliminary figures showed that the tourism sector directly contributed around 94.5 billion Malaysia ringgit to its gross domestic product. Malaysia's tourism sector have been negatively impacted the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to the cancellation of its Visit Malaysia 2020 tourism campaign. The next slide is about to tell you the tourism industry during COVID-19. So how Malaysia deal with the situation during the COVID-19. So we move to the next slide, which is ways of resolving issues of COVID-19 in tourism industry. There are two ways that Malaysia government suggests in order to deal with this pandemic. The first one is tourists in your own home, and the second one is new way forward. So we move to the first point, which is tourists in your own home. Tourism is currently permitted in regions that are subject to Conditional Recovery Movement Control Orders, which is MCO. So the National Security Council recently announced that interstate travel between location covered by rehabilitation MCO is permitted, but solely for tourism purpose. Shikin Tajul, a bank worker from Penang, was relieved to be able to travel again. So we move to the next point, which is New Way Forward. New Way Forward is a year after the epidemic halted tourism. Stakeholders have hastened digital adoption in order to stay competitive. So Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri, which is the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, said turning virtual will be crucial to reviving the sector. In fact, one of the key initiatives of the National Tourism Policy in 2020 to 2030 was to accelerate the digitalization of the tourism sector. So this is the second last slide, is about the conclusion. So in the conclusion, according to my findings, the COVID-19 epidemic has had a significant and negative impact on Malaysia's tourism business, with travelers from all over the world cancelling bookings and delaying travel plans due to concern about the virus. Furthermore, the number of tourists has decreased as a result of Malaysia government travel restrictions and bans. The economic stimulus program is expected to help the tourism industry to stay afloat during this difficult time. But our government already planned to make sure tourism industry in Malaysia been grown and become one of the best place to visit in Asia. However, we need to make sure that we follow the rules during the pandemic and also to support our our local tourism industry.